All that we've been talking about for the past 5 minutes is shaving. And Panda, when is the last time you shaved? Because is there a picture of you shaving? Or like
I have an unshaven picture in my phone somewhere.
Oh, okay. We're gonna need that for the Patreon content here pretty soon.
I look like a baby, like a little baby.
I have recently shaved. It looks like Jeff Haslam shaved. Amy,
a little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I've been trying to grow this out for a long time.
Yeah,
I'm not getting anywhere. You do look like 5 years younger.
You do.
Than you did last shows.
But see, this is so weird because Amy says she likes me with the facial hair more, but then she tells me I look younger. So do I look like I'm 10?
No.
She doesn't want a baby. If you came into a liquor shop, I would card you right now.
I want distinguished. Just, like Richard Gere and Pretty Woman.
You seen Richard Gere recently, though?
No, I don't mean now. I mean then.
Then Richard Gere, not now Richard Gere. Sorry, Richard. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC Show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger, joined, as always, with my lovely wife, Amy
Hello.
Krieger. We've got John Sakari, a.k.a. Big Fat Panda, with us.
Welcome home, everyone.
Senior Sales Associate for the DVC Resale Market, Derek DeBoer.
Hey now, everybody. Hey now.
And also freshly shaven Jeff Haslam.
Hey, everybody.
Wow, the most professional one, and that's not usual. Okay.
Oh, shut it.
Minus the shavings.
Minus the shaving, but yeah, that was a professional intro. We didn't even waste any time. The haters out there that hate our long-winded intros and our rambling are really going to like this show. We're talking news and Disney World, and there's been a lot of news and Disney updates that have happened over the course of the past month. Good, the bad, the ugly, and we're going to talk a little bit about each and every one of them today. Quick shout out to all of the people I chat with over on Disboards because speaking of news, they never fail me. They are convinced that anything Disney or Disney Vacation Club is going to happen while I'm on a cruise ship or in the middle of a flight or in the middle of nowhere. And that did not fail us on the last week. Amy and I just recently got back from Icon of the Seas out of Miami, and we were in St. Kitts when Disney decided to break some news. And I'm just chalking up another win on the list of random places that I've wrote blog articles from. So there you go. But that and all of our news we will discuss here shortly. This and all of our DVC fan content, though, as always, is brought to you by the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, where you can buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract. Monera Financial, who will assist in financing that DVC resale contract purchase. Or the DVC Rental Store, where you can try before you buy, rent some points, or rent out your own points, swap your points if you've got a hankering for a Universal epic vacation after the recent shows that we've done over the course of the past month. And Derek has a new shirt. Where's that shirt from, Derek?
It's from the fantastic Beastland at Epic Universe, where I went on Monday as part of a special preview on March 31st. And my wife walked into it's set in Paris. So it's, half Harry Potter, half Fantastic Beasts. But we walked into the gift shop. She immediately saw this shirt from Fantastic Beasts. And as she does everywhere we go, she grabs the shirt and she holds it up. She goes, "How about for the show? I think you need it for the show." And I'm like, okay, throw it in the hopper. We're going to get it. So, yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice and very cool.
Do you have a Dark Universe shirt for another day?
I do, Panda, but it's not an official Dark Universe. It's that Roosevelt one that I wore like a month before I went. So that's what I wore when I went to the Epic Universe preview, and I wore my Roosevelt shirt. So
we're still waiting for that Roosevelt's email. Roosevelt's. We've only said your name about Roosevelt's 25 Roosevelt's times in this show already. So
Hashtag keep dreaming.
Hook us up with some Disney shirts.
Yeah.
Ready? State your size. 3X. State your size.
Just send us a grab bag. I don't care at this point. Send us the ones that no one buys.
Mm-hmm.
That could be fun, though. That would be some random stuff that we would end up wearing, probably. All right, on to the main topic of the night, which is Disney and Disney Vacation Club news updates. And speaking of the blog that I wrote from St. Kitts and Nevis, I was sitting on the island when the news broke. And I can only, again, emphasize how much I wish you, our listeners and viewers, could be a part of the texting and group conversation that the five of us have whenever anything Disney does, because immediately the comments were amazing, and I'll let everyone else share their thoughts on this. But there's a new DVC Welcome Home Center called, and I love that they spent time on this name, Chateau de Voyage, opening this spring in EPCOT in the Canada Pavilion, because that's exactly what you think of when you think of Disney Vacation Club is the Canada Pavilion. So this is a welcome home center, just to clarify. This is not a lounge. You will be able to, from what I've read so far, book a time and go in and explore in Canada a Polynesian Island Tower room, because nothing screams Canada quite like Polynesia. I don't know where to go from here. I'm lost.
Can I get clarification on exactly where we think it's going to be located? So, the Canada Pavilion, you walk by it and you see all the things, but then you're missing a lot unless you kind of walk up the steps there and you go.
Correct.
So is it going to be kind of back in there, out of the way, or is it going to be like right smack in your face? Welcome to Canada. Come see the Polynesian.
Well, I am sure that there will be a sign that smacks you in the face with it. My understanding, though, is that it is actually in the Chateau Castle, which is part of the facade of
the big tall one that has
correct.
Le Cellier
Yeah, so you would
under?
actually go up the stairs, and it would be back in that area back there. I think that's correct, right, guys?
I believe so.
Yeah. Does that place have a technical name or a technical title, or are we just now calling it Chateau de Voyage?
It used to have a name, but I don't remember what it was. It was Chateau something, though.
Yes.
Well,
I know it's based after like an actual Canadian, like not monument, but Canadian. So our audience can definitely correct us if we're wrong. But I don't think it's just some quote unquote random, Canadian castle that they just threw in there. I think it's based off something in particular.
and when you go into that castle, Derek, is it Polynesian themed?
Usually there's one room that's Polynesian themed in every Canadian castle.
I know it's not based off of this one, but it looks a lot like that hotel that was in Victoria, Canada, that we saw in British Columbia. On that cruise.
Yes, yeah.
It's not, but it's not based off that one, but it looks a lot like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not upset about it if it's back in and there's a sign maybe that's not in your face, breaking your feeling of being in the Canadian Pavilion. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't sound like it's taking up, like it's not replacing something that was being used already, right? It's not taking away an attraction or anything like that. And let's be real, it's not like other timeshares where they harass you outside of Nectar restaurant and look at you like you're nuts because you don't want a gift card to go sit in a spiel. They're not being overly, they're not being salesy. They're not being high pressure. I don't even think they make eye contact with you unless you really show that you're interested. So I'm not bothered by it in any way.
That is a direct contact.
No eye contact at the Canadian Pavilion.
I didn't mean the Canadian Pavilion in general. I just meant
I know.
DVC.
No, I'm kidding.
What
I
are they
know.
called? ASAs?
Yeah.
ASAs. Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, the people that work in the booths there, they definitely have not been overly attacking in terms of, hey, come in, talk about Disney Vacation Club in the most recent encounters that we've had with them. But,
ever.
Your opinion as a Disney Vacation Club member is far removed from the general population, and I have not seen the Disney community attack something as hard as they went after the decision to put this in the Canada Pavilion. This was widespread hate for this in terms of the location and the fact that we need less DVC in the parks. I'm with you.
But like at the end of the day, not only are they not pushy, But they need somewhere that people can see these rooms.
No.
And actually, it's better for people who want to see it that aren't even DVC members because they don't have to leave the parks. You know, when you're the clientele they're looking for are in the parks a lot. You know what I mean? They're not DVC members yet. They're not here all the time yet. They're not just lounging around the resorts. They're in the parks, and they don't want to leave the parks because they're on a special vacation and they probably paid out the wazoo.
Amy has a point. Amy has a point.
Yeah, I mean, if I could throw in an hour's worth of thoughts on this, I think I get the idea and what they're trying to do, but with Disney Vacation Club, with all the folks in the parks, their biggest obstacle, we know every Disney theme park has those booths, right? The Disney Vacation Club booths where you go up. Their goal in those booths is not to tell you everything you want to know about Disney Vacation Club. The goal of those booths is to get you to want to sign up for an official tour. They want to take you over to one of their sales centers, right? Where you could tour the model room. So they want to take you over to, whether it's the new Polynesian or take you over to Saratoga Springs. They want to get you in front of a Disney Vacation Club guide. So that is why I've heard some people say, I was talking to the people in the parks, but they really wouldn't get into, monthly payments, and they wouldn't get into this. So I just kind of want, that's not their job. Their job is to get you and your family so excited that when they say, would you like to learn more? It takes maybe 60 to 90 minutes. They want you to say, you know what? We would love to. The biggest obstacle they have is if you're in a park, right? Because now you have to leave the park. You have to physically leave, whether it's getting picked up in a van or you're getting, taking a boat or whatever it is you're going to do. Because the main thing you want to see if you're learning about Disney Vacation Club, you want to see the model rooms. That's what you want to see when you're learning about it. They know that this is what we're going to hold up here. And when you're on tour, you get to walk through a studio, you get to walk through a 1-bedroom, you get to see a 2-bedroom. So by them having this in the park, it eliminates that, number one objection that people know they're perfect for it, but they're at EPCOT and maybe they've got dinner later that night and they go, you know what, this sounds great, but I don't want to leave the park. This allows them to say, you know what, we're right over here. We're right over in the Canada Pavilion. You could get your questions answered. You could tour the model rooms. So that's going to help them from that aspect tremendously. There's nothing wrong with that. I just have a problem with why did they think that actually building a Disney Vacation Club sales center into a country at EPCOT, which the purpose of these countries have always been to learn about the countries, not learn about vacation ownership while you're in fake Canada. It's to learn about actual Canada. It's to want to get you so excited to go to Canada, not to take a tour about Disney Vacation. So yes, they could have put it somewhere at EPCOT, but put it backstage. Don't actually build it into a country. Personally, that is what I just feel is a bit of a miss. And we saw the reaction from people online. No one's complaining about being able to go look at model rooms at EPCOT. That's not the issue. It's why did you have to build it into an actual EPCOT country?
And I think I mentioned in our group chat as well, you've got a lot of unutilized space still at the EPCOT Lounge in the Imagination Pavilion. There's rooms back behind there that, that whole second floor outside of what's being utilized for the lounge space is not being utilized. And what if you could bring someone up into that space, like a guest pass almost into the lounge that allows you to come up there with a guide, and then they take you into a model room back there, and then they show you the lounge, which is a cool member benefit. It gives you the opportunity to, relax on your EPCOT or your park day and mention that, hey, there's new lounges in other places. We'll get to more of that too. Derek, while you were talking, I could not think that Jeff looked more painful on the side split screen that I have available to me that the rest of you don't get to see. Jeff, give us your thoughts on this decision.
Well, and here's my problem is I'm starting to get a reputation on this show as being the old curmudgeon that hates everything Disney does. After our Epic Universe conversations the last 3 weeks.
I wonder why.
I'm feeling very attacked right now because Disney keeps picking these things up and I just can't not swing at them. But honest to God, I don't understand what their thinking is with this one. I'm in full agreement with what Amy and Derek said about needing a place in the parks. I guess that's fine. My problem with where they've put it is, number one, The boardwalk has one of these on the first floor that they don't really use. That's not that friggin' far from where Canada is. Like, put them in a golf cart, drive them over there, drive them back, give them $100 gift card. Whatever this thing costs to put in, they could give everybody a $100 gift card and still be ahead of the game, probably, for the number of people that are going to take advantage of this. But more importantly, Epic Universe, I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, is blowing it out of the park based on the reviews that we've been getting from people, including Derek right here. Why can't Disney understand that people don't want this? They could have put in an attraction. They could have put in another show, a lounge, a restaurant. They could have utilized this space any number of ways.
Yeah.
To Derek's point, that actually pays tribute to Canada rather than kind of slapping them in the face. And I don't want to get into the political side of it, but right now is really not the best timing for this anyways. But even more than that, we are desperate for EPCOT to be what they promised us. And a DVC sales center just does not check anybody's box in that regard.
No.
Panda, you frequent the parks too, and I want to ask this question to you because it's one that's been on my mind. Think about a park stay at EPCOT, and think about if you were a family or if you were someone that was going on a trip, and how you have to plan your Disney vacation these days. Is penciling this into that schedule even realistic, given how you have to plan for a day in the parks these days?
I think you'd have to be almost ready to buy and really wanting to see this room.
Yeah.
In order to pencil that in. But the other thing I want to know, I want to see how destructive it is to the pavilion. Meaning, I just want to, when I go, is it something you could easily miss? Do you have to seek it out? Are they going to be advertising it and it's going to be really, hokey? I just want to know, is there going to be a big sign that says DVC at the Canadian Pavilion? So I hope not. I really hope it's kind of hidden. But then why do it? So I don't know. I feel bad for our Canadian friends that, like Jeff said, the timing right now is just not right. They should have waited a little bit, I think.
Well, and maybe their approach to this is to grab the people that have been drinking around the world and start in Mexico. And by the time they get around to Canada, they're just drunk enough that they'll walk home with a $50,000 souvenir. I don't know, but it just seems...
Compliance is going to love those
me.
Conversations.
You think if you start in Mexico and get to Canada, you're just drunk enough?
Well, some of us
I'm done by Norway.
I think you're dead.
If you want to watch that episode.
But I think too that, and to answer Paul's question per se, no one in every Disney Vacation Club contract that they sell on Walt Disney World property, I bet you it has to be maybe 1% of people on that trip before they took that trip said, now, honey, remember, we have that appointment scheduled to buy that Disney Vacation Club timeshare on Wednesday at 9:00. It's not how it works. People don't do that. They grab them while they're on vacation. How long are you here for? Let us answer your questions. Let us find a time that works. Is it right now? Is it maybe tomorrow morning before your breakfast? So no one overall, goes to Disney World with the intention, per se, of I'm going to buy Disney Vacation Club this trip. Sure, they might say, I want to go see the rooms. I want to do that. But that's when they get you, because that's when you want to get them. My people I love to talk to at the DVC resale market are the ones that, of course, just got back from Disney. So they've got a little bit of pixie dust, still on them. When you're there at Walt Disney World, dude, you're like soaked in pixie dust. That's when they want you to take this tour, because they want you to learn about it while you're on vacation. Not, well, I'll look into it when you get home. And then when you get home, all of a sudden you go to your mailbox and you've got a week's worth of mail and you've got bills and the kids are back in school and everything else, and you forget about Disney Vacation Club. So you've got to strike while the iron's hot. EPCOT is a great place to learn about it. But like I said, my problem isn't that it's there. And I'm sure it's going to be done tastefully. Like it's going to, look like a really cool wooden sign with like a tiny logo and French and all that. And it'll be really pretty. But they just could have done it backstage. That's all.
So Derek, to your point, and kind of going back to what Amy started us off with, that will likely be like a highly coveted position for a guide to have, is to do those tours in EPCOT, just because you are capturing them like while they're in that excitement of Disney.
Yeah. I mean, right now, for my friends that are Disney Vacation Club guides, being able to work at, guess where the number one place is right now, where you want to work, where they send people to take a tour. You're at the Polynesian Island Tower. That's it. Yeah. So those guests that come in, whether you're meeting a member or whether you're meeting someone learning about the club for the first time, my God, I mean, you go on tour there, you're not, that's the difference. So when you go to, Saratoga Springs, which is the preview center, which is basically the heart of Disney Vacation Club, yes, they have model rooms, right? But they're built into, the Saratoga Springs resort. So you're learning about it, but you mentally have to, so now I'm at the Polynesian and now I'm here. When you tour there and they take you and show you those garden rooms and show you the actual resort itself and the pool, it'd be hard not to have someone, buy or let alone add on vacation club points at there. So I think because this is the first one in a theme park, right? So there's no other park that you could go to see the model rooms in that park. So I think you'll have a lot of really great people that, again, go to Disney every year. I talk to them every single day. Yeah, we see the DVC stuff, but we just never wanted to take the time from vacation. I think overall, this is going to help people, look into it, and then they'll do research, and then they'll see how much money they could save if they buy with us at the DVC resale market. And then they'll buy there. And
they'll give you a fast pass to Canada far and wide, so you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
What's a fast pass?
Fast pass.
I still say
the stuff that you get at MGM Studios.
I say it every time.
All I will end us with on this topic, because I think we've spent enough time on the first of many Disney Vacation Club lounge announcements that happened a week ago or so, is that, Jeff, I remember you had family in town and you went to see the cabins at Fort Wilderness, the model that they have there. But you
Correct.
arrived, and what did they tell you?
You have to schedule a tour. We can't show it to you right now. You have to come back tomorrow.
And that's my only concern when it comes to this at EPCOT is if it does get too popular, how does that work out? Are they giving you a free ticket to come back to EPCOT a day later?
Exactly. No, they're going to send you to Saratoga. They're not going to invite you. Yeah, I don't think so anyway. And to your point earlier, when you have to book your lightning lanes and your dining reservations so far in advance, nobody's going to cancel those in order to go to get sold a timeshare. It's just not going to happen. I don't think it's going to be as successful as they hope.
Well, if this wasn't the only thing that happened last week, we would talk about it a little while longer. But last week, someone at Disney decided it was Lounge Week. It was, the week to announce lounges and other random stuff. And also around that same time, we had the opening of McKim's Mile House, the new DVC member lounge at Magic Kingdom. And Amy and I actually went there on opening day and got in. And there is a video up. Barely. There is a video up on the DVC Fan YouTube channel that kind of showcases the lounge a little bit, as well as kind of gives you our opening day thoughts and opinions. I will say, just kind of recapping that video a little bit, we have the Member Magic Beyond add-on to our membership, so we did pay $100 for that. That day specifically, they cut off the line and they were not allowing you to kind of skip places on the line. My understanding is that they have fixed that for the most part. Granted, it was opening day, it was opening week. You have everyone trying to get in there. I saw a post on the DVC Fan Facebook group earlier today that said someone had come. It was definitely very busy, but they had the Member Magic Beyond benefit. They jumped immediately to the top of the line, and they were in the lounge within about 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So
that's encouraging.
Either they got the message or something went better. Panda.
Can you buy the membership Magic $100 thing right from a booth in the park if you wanted to?
I think you have to go to the Canada Pavilion at EPCOT for it.
I actually would have totally believed that.
You just buy it online, but I don't know. We'd have to look if it's still available.
I'm just curious if you could do it from the park, like from guest relations or
like
a DVC
I just want
booth.
in this lounge. I'm going to buy it
I think
now.
you should be able to still buy it online at any given time.
Still available.
I thought that they were going to originally, when they announced the product, stress urgency with it and kind of make it where it was like the month of January is when you renewed, and like that, or at least like the month of January is like when you renew and you get $10 or $15 off, and then after that, if you join, because it is yearly. So even if you were to join now, we're filming this on April April 2nd,
You would lose.
You've lost out on basically 3 months of the year, and it's still going to expire at the end of December. But I think there are situations.
That's terrible.
There should be a proration or give you a year from the date of purchase.
Yeah, from the date of I did not know that. That makes it even less enticing.
And I think that's because each year that the offerings are going to change, and so you're going to be exempted from those if you choose to cancel. Every year it's going to be something there. That's my understanding anyway.
So like in August, nobody will buy a new one of these?
No, they'll wait till January.
Okay.
I think it depends,
like
though. I think it depends on why you're actually subscribing to it, because the one-time use point benefit, that still does have some value no matter when you buy it. So like if you need the one-time use points, it's buy 12 get 12 free, I believe it is. That still makes sense at any time during the year to spend the extra $100 because you're actually saving money on the whole. The other thing is if you're trying to use the annual pass benefit and actually use points for your annual pass, which is a big waste of your points and a big waste of money. But at the end of the day, if that's still how you want to do that, you could technically that could technically make sense at any point in the year.
Yeah, I wanted to look to see if they were still selling it. I can't say for sure because on the membership Magic Beyond site, the buy now button is grayed out. But then it does like prompt me to sign in, and when I sign in, it shows me that I'm already a member of it. So I don't know. We'd have to look into that further.
I'll tell you later. I'm going to take a look at it.
Yeah. But have any of you checked out the lounge yet, or at least had a chance to watch the video and kind of see some of the content from it? What are your thoughts?
I did watch the video. Go ahead, Panda. You go first.
I was just saying I liked it. It doesn't look as extravagant or big inside to host as many people as I think need it in the Magic Kingdom or want it. So that's the only problem I have with it. Otherwise, I like it. I think for me, I never really did visit the shooting range, so I like this as an alternative. And your video looked great. It looks really nice inside.
Yeah, and for me, it's more of a I'm not one that even frequents the EPCOT one. It's open such limited hours, and I'm always in the World Showcase. So for me to trek over to Figment just isn't something that I personally do. I know a lot of people love it, and when I do go up there, it's great. This one, just to me, it's beautiful. The name is weird. I keep wanting to call it the Mile High Club, which is really inappropriate. But
is it inappropriate?
Also, it's in one of those areas, like the Magic Kingdom's the most visited tourist attraction in the world, and they only put, 50, 60 seats in there. Just the size of it doesn't make sense for where it is. Having said that, if it becomes a little easier to get into as the newness wears off, I'm not opposed to checking it out. I think it's great. I think it's anytime they can offer something like this for members is good. It just, it seems small and kind of not something I would personally use a lot.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme with a lot of the lounges that they're building recently, is that they are very exciting, but the concept is so small that it's going to be very hard to get into.
Right, and that kind of Roland's part of the factor of what makes a lounge special is, I've been in Magic Kingdom. I've got an hour between this, whatever I got going on. I'm going to go sit down, get a free drink from the DVC lounge, and then you go up and it's an hour wait, and that kind of defeats, some of the purpose of that.
Are we under the impression that the EPCOT lounge fits a lot more people? Because I think it's kind of an illusion, the way that circular thing with only a few chairs. Do we know how much difference it is with capacity?
I don't know the actual capacity of that, but I would say that it feels like it should. Just like looking at the space as a whole when you're up there, it feels like it should. But to your point, the chairs are spaced out in such a way that it feels almost like we're still doing social distancing up in the EPCOT lounge because everything's kind of spaced out a little bit too much.
But when we'd complain the other way if they were pushing the chairs in there, squeezing them in. So hopefully when it dies down.
Didn't you say, Paul, that there's not as many charging stations as one would think for a lounge of this nature?
Correct. Yeah, we covered that a little bit in the video too, is that they kind of marketed it as having charging and stuff like that for your phones. But from what I noticed, there was only a handful of tables that really had the built-in charging on the tables. And let's be honest with this. We were just on Icon of the Seas. Anything where they put a built-in charger into something, that has a shelf life of maybe a month and a half.
Yeah.
that thing is going to go there. When we were on our cruise ship on both
We had
sides of the light
two
things,
broken.
you could
Yeah.
see the little USB port, but it's shoved back in there because someone was, raunching on it too hard or something. But I mean, those things just don't hold up well. It's like all of the really big, old, bulky furniture that some of these DVC resorts have that have the built-in charging to it. And you get about 1% of battery life out of that for every 6 hours that you're plugged into it. So they need to upgrade that a little bit, but there are only a handful of places to actually plug in stuff. I don't know if it was a cast member's phone or not, but by how it was set up, I had to think that behind kind of the desk that is inside McKim's Mile High Club, as Jeff would call it, there were 2 chargers plugged in, and I saw 2 cell phones plugged in that was like behind the cast member desk. So I was like, are they taking people's phones and charging them behind the desk? Because that seems weird. I don't know, but
that's actually something extra, Paul. It's brand new. They just announced it. It's membership beyond the beyond the beyond, where you pay $400 and you can charge your phone backstage. You can charge it anywhere, all over the whole park. Makes no difference.
Mickey just carries like a holster with a phone charger, so if you're doing a meet and greet, you can plug in. The table we sat at, it was just like a table, like a leftover table from like Liberty Tree, I'm pretty sure. So there was.
I didn't think that.
Yeah, there was no.
At the end of the day, they didn't have to put a lounge in there for us. So
You're very positive tonight. I love your positivity.
they had apple chips.
That's all that matters.
I was just so excited to see a healthy snack option, and they had like granola bars and apple chips, and they had like regular chips and stuff. So I was kind of excited about it.
Even when you could have gone out those doors and gotten a Dole Whip.
Dole Whips cost money.
Okay.
Apple chips would be free in the
Wouldn't
lounge.
that have been cool in the lounge though? Put in like a soft serve Dole Whip thing. Yep, that'd be good.
Then you'd
that'd be
never get
messy.
people out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd just be a line constantly.
It'd just be videos of Paul and I getting fatter and fatter, sitting on the chair, not charging our phones, but eating Dole Whip.
Yeah.
Again, as I mentioned before, Disney was on a lounge kick, and so they also revealed a new name for the EPCOT lounge coming to Spaceship Earth, which is Geo 82. This is I wrote sleek and sophisticated adults-only lounge. That was also noted in the release that is coming sometime here in 2025. And I think the adults-only part was what kind of got the buzz from most people, but most people said
it was better received than I anticipated. I was like, oh, I'm going to click on the comments. There's a bunch of comments, and it's going to be mad people that can't break. But no, I was really surprised. There was a couple people that were sad there wasn't a bin to deposit their kids at the entrance. Some of those comments cracked me up. But, obviously Disney, very kid-based. There's a lot of things for your kids to do, but it is really cool to have something that's adults only in the park. And it's not like they're taking away something, right? I mean, it's
right.
Where's it being built exactly?
Well, see, that's my issue with it.
It's in
technically. Right. So when I was a kid and I went to we went to Disney for Give Kids the World for my nephew. That was a resting area for the kids when they were sick, and I was shocked because I never saw it. I think it was AT&T executives or something, whoever the sponsor was 28 years ago. And that I just hope that lounge is still used for that if the kids need a resting spot. I don't want to know that we took it away from kids that need it to sick kids that need it to adults. But I wonder if there's going to be a child swap for them to bring their parents and then change the parent.
Child swap for the lounge. Yeah, I think the last iteration of it was like the Siemens Lounge because they were actually the sponsor of Spaceship Earth at the time.
But that's been gone then for a while, right?
Yeah,
Like
I think so.
The GM Lounge above Test Track, that's been gone for a while.
Yeah, they use that basically.
It's a beautiful space. Beautiful space.
I still don't know where it is.
I think when you look at the planter, it's that gray building with the windows, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So it's basically that back area of Spaceship Earth that faces out towards World Showcase Lagoon. So hopefully you should
those
be able
windows,
to see like you should be able to, from the window, see fireworks if it's open late enough in the evening.
Okay.
And to me, it just seems like a great like perch to just go and work for the day or something like that if you don't have a lot going on. And
I'm really excited to see it. Yeah. And honestly,
Yeah, I think it's great. I don't necessarily have any problems with this one. Hey, Disney's did something Jeff's not mad about. What do you know? I am shocked that they went full adults only. I mean, at what point is Disney just going to charge a cover charge and turn Epcot into like just a giant bar? But because it's almost there anyway. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm excited to see it and see how it works out. I think the name sucks, but what do you do?
Well, I think that's their tagline, Jeff, is from the people that brought you McKim's Mile High Club. It's Epcot's first adult-only entertainment complex.
Geo 82.
and at the end of the day, kids will always grow up to be able to be adults, but I still will never be able to ride the the pterodactyl flyers at Paradonal.
Right? Yep. Hey, Amy,
That's
next time
funny.
my grandkids come, we'll take you up and you can ride it. I'll
Yes.
send you with one of my grandbabies.
I would love that. Thank you. If
Eventually,
Jeff
you
doesn't
could get
find me
into
a
our
kid,
lounge.
Somebody please rent me your child because I've been wanting to ride that forever.
you could be the
That's
bin
hysterical,
where deposit
Amy.
children too at the end of the ride. I don't even know where to go from here. I will tell you something that I wasn't overly excited about that was also announced recently, which was finally we do have an opening date for 2 new shows that are coming to Hollywood Studios this year. So on May 27th, both Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After is going to open at Hollywood Studios, as is the reimagined The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. And I think we were chatting about this last week. Jeff, I think you made a park pass for that day. Our pass actually expires before that, and I was not necessarily overly saddened by the fact that I will miss out on opening day of these 2 new shows. So
We'll see them when we see them. But I am excited. We're going to have something to suck people in. You know what I mean? Like
people suckers.
Yeah. It's busy. We need shows and things to hold more people.
Well, and for me, that's kind of why I'm excited about it. I'm less excited about the villains thing, and that's hard for me because the villains are actually my favorite. I'm just worried it's going to be too cheesy and not dark enough for it to be what it needs to be. I actually am a fan of the old Voyage of the Little Mermaid. In fact, Amy and I were talking about it this morning that we actually do miss that. That show was highly underrated, in my opinion. To Amy's point, anything to get crowds out of line for Rise, Tower of Terror, and Rock and Roller Coaster. Typically, shows have a pretty decent capacity, so it will help absorb some of that. And anything to get those crowds down at Hollywood Studios, I'm all for. So we'll see. I am going to go opening day. I'm excited enough for it. I think Jeff and Dan are going, and we'll probably do some type of video to tell you if it's worth it.
They did release a photo of the stage area for the villains. It looks pretty major. Like they went fast, but they transformed that space with great set pieces.
And once again, where is this one going?
That's
Where the cars.
Cars.
Was,
No, the Lightning McQueen Academy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Like
what I
Tower of
thought.
Terror,
I
yeah.
wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I was
which
kind of
that's-
hoping that the Beauty and the Beast show was going away instead of this, but you can't always get what you want.
No, not the Beauty and the Beast.
Which that's a pretty big.
It was crowded the other day. Just saw it yesterday, 2 days ago, and it was crowded. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big building where Lightning McQueen's is. I don't think they utilized it well for that show.
They
like
didn't.
the number of people that could actually watch that show at a given time was, I felt like, very small. We saw it once or twice in that space. My only concern, Jeff, to like what you said, is that you're gonna have to have a show that really resonates with kids. And are the villains gonna do that? Are a lot of these older villains going to actually resonate with kids? Because I feel like they're more attached to our generation. So more of the Disney adults are gonna be more excited for most of the villains that are kind of featured here. Versus if Lightning McQueen, failed here. Like, what does that say? Like, what are people actually going to head back to this area? Is it going to do as well as we hope? And then also, is it just a limited time thing until we see, the Villains Land open in Magic Kingdom in 20 years or so? So,
yeah. Well, and
I agree. The
that
kids
point,
have to
I mean,
be.
You have Phantasmic right next door, which that, in my opinion, is the show to beat. So it doesn't matter what they do; it's not going to be that. So it's weird to have I don't know. We'll see. I'm going with an open mind, but I have reservations.
My 2 cents on it is, I mean, like you guys said, anything that they do that can eat more people up in that park, because it's by far my least favorite park. It's got way too many lines for too many things. These are shows that I won't care to go see. I look at everything completely differently now with this news, and we're talking about, oh, they're bringing back the Little Mermaid show, and then there's another show, 5 feet away, that's a Disney villain show. After coming back from Epic just a few days ago and seeing what they've done over there, I just can't help but look at everything differently. When I see this news come about and seeing it, and we saw the How to Train Your Dragon show that we saw, and it was the most incredible show I've ever seen inside a theme park ever. So I hope that they bring their A game to this, because I just wonder, like you guys have already talked about, how much is this going to resonate with people? Because for me, it's like, oh, they're bringing back the Little Mermaid show that was there a really long time ago. Then now the building sat empty for how long, and what exactly, how is it going to be different? And the villain show has a beautiful big theater, and the stuff I've seen looks awesome, but it better be like knock your socks off good. Because honest to God, if you try to compare anything, any live show that Disney has now in their parks compared to just the one that I saw, I didn't get to see the Fantastic Beasts show, but I saw the How to Train Your Dragon show. They've got a lot of work to do. So I pray that they went above and beyond and just didn't put lipstick on something that hasn't had lipstick on it for a long time.
I'm blown away by Derek's reaction, because he's the kind that he was a hard nut to crack with this Universal. Now he's all he's on board. He's on board really fast, Jeff. No?
Yeah, no, 100%. And to Derek's point, the biggest mistake Hollywood Studios ever made was taking out the stunt show.
Yeah.
For better or worse, whether you like that show or not, it held like 4,000 people.
It was
amazing. And it was amazing.
And they only did it 3 times a day. So you knew you could see it if you wanted to, but also 3 times a day, 4,000 people were taken out of the park.
Yep.
Something little boys will always love is cars and fire, and it had everything. So,
and it was, I love that show, and I'm not even into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No.
Breezing over at least one of these, because I do want to get to this final, most recent news that we got out of Disney and talk about it a little bit. But it was also announced earlier last week that both Disney water parks, Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, are going to be open this summer starting May 21st, solely because so many people, and we've not used this phrase for a while, want to get soggy in the lobby. And truthfully, I think that is the reason why we're seeing this occur, is the capacity issues at these water parks. A lot of people are taking advantage of the free water park benefit. So if you are unfamiliar, throughout 2025, if you are staying, I believe, in a deluxe, I think it's any.
It's any Disney.
So, at any Disney vacation, or as Disney Vacation Club members, any Disney Vacation Club property or any property on Disney property, on the day of check-in, you have the opportunity to go into a water park free of charge. So start off your day, board the airplane, wear your swimmies, and head straight to the water park and spend some time there. And from what we've heard, capacity has been reaching a max, at least right now at Blizzard Beach, which is the only park open at the moment. It will actually go down here in a couple weeks at the end of April, after it celebrates its anniversary, and then it'll kind of have a small refurbishment while Typhoon Lagoon comes online. But then by May 21st, throughout the summer, both water parks are going to be open. And I love how Disney has jumped on the Universal bandwagon and has said that all 6 of our parks will be open in summer of 2025. Eye roll from Panda there. No? Not the water parks were never a theme park. Stop. It's a water park.
Yeah.
But it is about time.
I think it's great because I did it. So 3 weeks ago when we did our little staycation at the Poly, we didn't want to go to a park that trip. We were just there for 2 nights. And so we're like, hey, you know what? We should take advantage of that, going over to a water park. We hadn't been to Blizzard Beach, my God, in forever. We love Typhoon Lagoon, but we haven't been to Blizzard Beach in forever. So we're like, you know what? Let's go. Let's get there kind of right when Blizzard Beach opens, and let's see how this all works. If it works out, great. If not, it'll make for some funny content for the shows. But we did. So we drove over there. We got there at park opening. We didn't really know. We're like, okay, so where do we go? Do we check into like the line for tickets where people are? Or so? There was a great cast member standing right there with their iPad. She's like, are you guys here because you're staying at a Disney resort? We said yes. We just showed her our, whatever it is. I don't know. My wife had it on her phone and where our hotel stay was. Not me. But she showed her that. We were in the water park within like 30 seconds. Super gracious. Handed us our tickets. We got there early enough so we were able to get great seats kind of right by the main pool, far enough away from anyone. But I can tell you, because we were there for probably about 3 hours and we rode all the stuff and very little waits for the rides. But in that like third hour, it was like, okay, I think it's time to go to the hotel because it got crowded. Like it was insane. Like we left to go ride something and we came back and I swear to God, there was like 37 people in front of me now on tiny little chairs that were like this big with their knees sitting up, families and strollers everywhere all around me. We were like, let's get out of here. This is just getting a little too crazy for us. But for that 3 hours, it was great. It was free. It was fun. And now that Typhoon's going to be open, I would definitely do it again. It was great.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience 2 weeks ago. It was very cold in the morning. There wasn't a lot of people. And then all of a sudden the droves came. But I thought Blizzard Beach looked pretty good. It was nice and clean.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was very
I've
clean.
not
It
been
was
to
really
Blizzard
cute.
Beach since 1999, 2000,
Same.
where I got severely sunburnt on the lazy river there. So I am wondering if the sale of aloe vera is going to go up throughout the parks this summer because you're going to have everyone heading on their first day to the water parks and then having sunburn in Florida for the rest of their vacation. But
And I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, it looked to me, it's like what Amy said about the Magic Kingdom Lounge. Like, you know what? They didn't have to do it. They didn't have to do it. So if you don't want to do it, don't go. But Disney didn't have to offer you the ability. So don't complain, oh, it's not good during my stay. I have to do it on the very first day. My flight's too late. I didn't arrive. But the point is they didn't have to do it. Are they doing it for a reason? Yeah, of course, because they probably don't want you waiting at the hotel asking, is my room ready? Is my room ready? So, but they didn't have to. So the fact that if you look at how much a day at Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon is for a family of 4, it ain't cheap. It's not like it's $20 a person to go to these water parks. It's expensive. So again, it's just something, if you want to do it, great. If not, but I will never complain about them offering something. We will happily complain about when they take stuff away. But offering something, never complain.
No, that's a good point. And, spoiler alert, you're going to see a video coming your way pretty soon because it seems like we cover Typhoon Lagoon a lot because of Moonlight Magic, and that's where it's held.
Yeah.
I'm excited to actually, because to Paul's point, I haven't been to Blizzard Beach for a long, long time. So I'm going to go up and do an off the beaten path kind of video up there and just kind of delve into that park because it just doesn't get enough love. Mm-hmm. But they should be open together year round. And Volcano Bay doesn't close, for certain times of year. Like, give some people some choices and throw a new slide in every once in a while. Water slides aren't that expensive. Let's refurbish those too, like we're refurbishing everything else. But at the end of the day, I'm a water park guy. I love them, and I'm really excited to head over. So,
yeah. I've never been to Blizzard Beach before.
Oh, it's really cool.
And I've only been to Typhoon Lagoon for Moonlight Magic. But
Theming is really good.
The theming is great because it's so different. Like, we know what Typhoon Lagoon is, which, again, I probably prefer that one because it's relaxed. It's got the tropical music and the palm trees. But the theming for Blizzard Beach is so freaking cool. Like, I forgot how cool the theming is, all the way from the ski lifts and the rides themselves and the ski lodges and the little bars that they have. It's really, really cool.
The alligator mascot is adorable.
Yes.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, too, is my favorite thing about Blizzard Beach is you don't have to hike to the top like everywhere else. You get to jump on the sky ride and save your feetsies. So
I'm excited to get back there. So we're definitely, that's penciled into our plans for this summer. All right, the last and biggest news that I want to end us with today is the stuff that actually came out most recently, which is either an extreme tease or is signs that there might be something else on the horizon. But recently, there was a report that airline check-in is returning in kind of a pilot program. So right now, at Pop Century exclusively, you can choose, if you are flying Southwest, to do your airline check-in and check your luggage right there at Pop Century before you head to the airport. This is something that was around pre-COVID. It was something that was around back when the Magical Express was a thing. We already know that it does look like it's going to expand to the other all-star resorts. Where it goes after that, we don't know. It is a pilot program. But writing is on the wall. There's been a lot of great reporting on this. We linked to some of that in our article that's over on dvcfan.com. But this is something that just has the rumor mill a buzz with, is this luggage benefit coming back? And also, what does it mean for Magical Express?
Do we know for sure if this is a free or paid service?
Currently, we know that it is a free pilot program.
Okay, but we don't know
what it rolls out as completely. The verdict is out. But right now, it is a free pilot program, and that's all I'm going to say.
I don't.
Derek knows where this goes.
I don't see any way they bring back Magic Express without a fee.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah,
100%.
Not that it wouldn't be worthwhile, but I don't know.
So. And I'll just add this for context, too. So in the article that I wrote on this, it's funny because my mind immediately went to picking up yes, I do occasionally still get a newspaper. I remember picking up the Sunday newspaper back in November and taking it in the house and opening it to an article that was all about the issues related to baggage at Orlando International Airport. And it was a very extensive article, and I would encourage you to read the entirety of it because I only hit small snippets of it. But this article talked about how the belts and stuff that are in, the luggage rooms where the luggage goes from this terminal to that terminal, those rooms can get to be, 110 to 120 degrees inside because of how much machinery is going. And these things are all antiquated, old machineries. And if one goes down, it just causes a chaotic effect. And if you've been to Orlando International Airport anytime in the recent history, you know that getting your baggage or dropping off your bags is a huge mess. Yeah. And the article itself talked about how they were trying to alleviate this, and they are spending I think it's hundreds of millions of dollars to try to alleviate this problem. But part of what they are doing is subsidizing this. So they allocated a certain amount of money, I want to say it was around $25 million, basically to have companies come in and take luggage out of the facility to process it to make it a little bit easier, which is exactly what Magical Express used to do and what that whole program used to do. And not only does MCO want to do this in a capacity of Disney, which they specifically cite Magical and Express, and when that ended, how much more luggage demand then went into the airport versus being outside of the airport. But they're also talking about how we can expand and do that for cruise ship travelers or anyone else that's coming and going to a resort style property in the Orlando area. For me, all of that has to be connected in some way. So, Jeff and Cute Doggy, what do you think?
Sorry, he just decided he wants to be on the show.
Oh my God.
So just the pilot program right now, just to make sure that I'm understanding, is this only from Disney back to the airport right now?
Correct. That is
this
all
isn't
that's
you
been
can
announced.
check your bags in Salt Lake City and it shows up in your room like the old days. This is just going back.
No
Okay.
pre-checking or anything like that. They're not sending out anything in the mail prior to your stay. It's basically when you actually are checking out, there are people, my understanding is that at Pop Century, there are people saying, hey, are you flying Southwest and, headed to the airport? Hey, check your bags right here. That's kind of what is being offered at this time.
It's curbside check-in, but the curb at Disney rather than at the airport. I think it's a good step in the right direction. This goes back to, this is something they never should have taken away to begin with, and we've already discussed that ad nauseum on our show here. I don't think right now in the short term it really means much to most people because, the thing that Disney sort of screwed up on is keeping them in the bubble, like we've been talking about with Universal. This doesn't do anything to keep them in the bubble. They're already leaving. But if this is a step towards some iteration of Magic Express, I think that's a home run. We already know from reports that we've heard that Disney is very concerned about the amount of people figuring out how to get up the road to the competitors. And so anything they can do to keep that bubble back intact, I think you're right. I think there's no way this is a free service, which that's kind of what I said when Magic Express went away in the beginning. They should have kept it and still offered it as a paid service for people that wanted it. That's one service that I actually don't care if they charge me as long as it's reasonable. Mm-hmm. But now the hassle, it's going to depend on how much it costs, because when you have to get to the airport 17 hours before your flight because it takes your luggage that long. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a step in the right direction. I'll say that. We'll see how it rolls out.
If they make it reasonable and it's just a quick add-on when you're booking a package for most people, now DVC is going to have a whole different thing, but I think that would make it.
Well, yeah, and people that are, in the business world will understand what I mean by this, but it needs to be a loss leader, essentially, or at least just be a break-even product. They shouldn't look at this from a mindset of, we can make money off of luggage and getting people to and from. Yeah. Right now, that is why Mears is not doing so well. Yeah. You saw Sunshine. I think you had Mears, you had Sunshine Flyer that also came into
they went out of business.
Mears bought Sunshine Flyer, but also Mears right now, the cost for a family of 4 to take Mears and do their transportation versus an Uber. An Uber is still cheaper. People will take an Uber any day of the week. And so that is the issue.
And it's faster, too. Somebody in our DVC fan Facebook group today posted, hey, we're coming into town on Friday. Our flight got delayed. We're not going to get there till 1 a.m. What's everybody's experience? And the comments have been blown up. Yeah, you get there at 1, but because the amount of traffic at that time can't fill a bus, it might be 3 hours from 1 o'clock in the morning until you get to your resort. Mm-hmm. When you've got little kids and it's 4 a.m. and you're rolling into Pop Century, that is not good customer service. Mears needs to figure that out, but that is currently going on right now. Yeah. I don't ever remember that being a problem with Magic Express.
You
had a bus that was dedicated to your resort that was back and forth. There was plenty of times we were the only people on the bus on an early morning flight.
Yeah. The reports that I've read have said that utilization near the end of Magical Express was near around 40%.
That's pretty big.
Which that's it doesn't sound like it's not on the other side of 50%, but still that's a huge number. Yeah. Where if you know that you're capturing those people, again, if your goal is to reestablish the Disney bubble, just make it a reasonable cost so this program breaks even. And I think that you're going to make more money that way than if you get too greedy and you overprice this product.
Agreed. 100%.
Agree.
That is the world of news, which I think was a hodgepodge of stuff. It's for me, it's like none of these stories alone was like a huge breaking news kind of piece, but the traction that all of them got in entirety was just, there was a lot of buzz about all of these, because I think everyone's kind of analyzing what is Disney doing right now and trying to understand what is happening behind closed doors, what discussions are happening, what does these small little things like a luggage service coming back actually mean. And we've referenced Epic Universe, and we're going to continue to do so here in the coming months, because I think it's going to be a huge point of conversation to see what is Disney going to do in this next month to 2 months before Epic opens to kind of respond to what they're doing. So if you didn't catch our previous shows that we did discussing Epic and Disney, go back and watch them. It was a 2-part series, and we kind of discussed ad nauseum just everything related to Epic and how Disney, we think, should respond to that. But that's kind of the news that's happening right now in the Disney and Disney Vacation Club space. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC Show. As always, please like and subscribe to our DVC Fan YouTube channel, or on whatever podcast platform you are listening to us on. Please leave us a 5-star review and let us know that you love what we're doing, because we love to engage with you guys and talk about all these things. So that'll do it for this week's episode of the DVC Show, and we will see you next Monday.
Hey,
Where's your dog? Where'd your doggy go?
He ran away.
Oh, so cute.